Okay, this is the game in which you are going to be clear about the distinction between language and reality, between labels and actuality, between symbols and interpretations and words and the truth. Those two realms do not overlap. This is my evidence. You see what that says? Grape tomatoes. And look, some grape tomatoes in there. See that? In fact, two of them are not grape tomatoes. Those are like the grape tomatoes that are in there. These are like just small tomatoes, grape tomatoes. I put them in there and they become grape tomatoes, right? Or let's say, for instance, that I take a green pepper and I put it into the container that clearly says grape tomatoes, and now I've changed it into a grape tomato or several grape tomatoes, right? Everybody can tell that all you have to do, because the label, that is a label, and labels are reality. Labels affect the content of the container. I put the grapefruit, and it's suddenly a grape tomato, which is like a grapefruit, except grape tomato. So, as you can see, I'm going to put in my car keys, my cell phone, into the grape tomato thing. This is getting old already, isn't it? And now, my cell phone and my car keys, those are my keys right there, jingle jingle, they're grape tomatoes. Why? Because language affects reality. Language affects the actuality of stuff. Now, interpretations are patterns in language. Words are symbols. We take these sounds, we string them together into words and sentences and paragraphs or whatever. But they're not actuality. This could be called a red object. Or, now, if I can get the thing open, now it's a grape tomato. There it is, because it's got a new label. Well, what changed about it? Nothing. A new label was put on it. From a red object to a grape tomato. I could call it a vegetable. I could call it a fruit. I could call it a plant. I could call it a yellow submarine. I could put a label on it, and that wouldn't change the actuality at all. Is this a pink grapefruit? Is this fruit? Is this plant? Is this a yellow on the outside something? A round thing? Is it a grape tomato? Language doesn't affect what it is. Language can be pretense. It can be lies. It can be inaccurate, fraud, deceptive, whatever we could call it, deceptive. But to say this is a grape tomato, that just, you know, we haven't really distinguished what a grape tomato is. So grape tomato is a label. Is that a grape tomato? I don't know. Maybe it is. If I don't speak English, I wouldn't know if I wasn't familiar with that terminology. So, actuality, reality, the truth, completely distinct from labels, from language, from symbolic sounds and linguistic constructions like sentences and words and interpretations. Those stuffs don't ever, ever, ever affect reality, actuality, truth. However, language influences attention, perception, and behavior. Language isn't outside of reality. Language is part of reality, but it's a very unique part of reality. So for somebody to get reality, actuality, truth is, language doesn't affect it, but language is part of it, and it's a very interesting part of it. And you've been using it all along for quite a while. You're going to continue using it. I don't really have anything to add to this except there's enormous issues that people run into by not being clear about the distinction between language and actuality, the distinction between labels and actuality. So I invite you to be attentive to the use of language. Watch, listen, notice the use of language as an actuality, as a reality, not isolated from the rest of reality, but a unique part of reality.